恭敬大德圣听，为此法会，及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，殊证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attempt bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Please repeat after me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo Sarando Sujedoye Ola Adi Samya Sambuddhoshe.
Namo Satanto Sujedoye Arahati Samya Sambuddhoshe.
Together.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。
Supreme and wondrous Dharma.
Supreme and wonderful Dharma.
Subtle and profound.
Subtle and profound.
Rarely is encountered.
Rarely is encountered.
Even in a billion eons.
Even in a billion eons.
But now we see it, hear it.
Now we see and hear it.
And accept it reverently.
And accept it reverently.
May we truly understand.
May we truly understand
the Buddha's actual meaning.
The Buddha's actual meaning.
Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Master, Dharma Masters, and good and wise friends in the Dharma, good evening. Welcome to Berkeley Buddhist Monastery for our Sutra lecture. Today is, let me check, March 24th, 2018. I believe it's the sixth patriarch's birthday. So 六祖的圣诞吗? I think it might be Shakyamuni Buddha's leaving home day if you looked on the calendar. And so you can say it's one of the auspicious days in our Buddhist calendar. And happy to have all of us joining us for the Sutra lecture in person or those who are online. Because Reverend Heng Sure is away in China doing a you can say English-speaking Dharma, I can say it again, teaching how to speak Dharma in English in China to about 50 monastics. He's away and unable to speak tonight, and Dharma Master Jin-Fo will be speaking in his stead, and we're going to go over the sutra called the Sutra of the Buddha's Teaching on Infinite Life. In the Chinese, you'll see is 佛说无量寿经. 佛说无量寿经. This is a very important text in the Pure Land tradition in the Buddhism. And it's very appropriate because Jin-Fo Sure is a Pure Land practitioner himself, and his name actually has Buddha in it. People recite the name Amitabha, so Jin-Fo Sure shares at least partly, well, I guess partly the name, in his name. So what we usually do is before we start the lecture, we invite you can say the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and because tonight we're going to be lecturing on Amitabha Buddha Sutra, we were going to recite Amitabha Buddha's name together. It's a really good way to calm down our minds, gather in our senses, and focus on something very, very wholesome. It's considered one of the most wholesome things we could do with our mind is to be mindful of the Buddha. If people who are not familiar with Amitabha Buddha, he's the image right in front there, on the very top, in our stained glass window. Very bright, very peaceful and compassionate, always gathering us in, if we have the affinities, to have the aspiration, to find a land of, you could say, just happiness, no suffering. So if we recite sincerely and tap into that place in ourselves, to find the Pure Land within. Okay? Namo Amitabha
Yeah. 诸佛菩萨、仙公上人各位法师各位佛友，还有我们线上的善知识大家晚安，阿弥陀佛。
So all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Master, Dharma Master, and all good and wise friends, good evening, Amitabha.
我们今天晚上一样的来研究无量寿经我们 一开始我们还是来念一下经文。
So tonight we'll be investigating the sutra of the Buddha's teachings on infinite life, and as our tradition is what we do is we first recite the sutra text. We recite the sutra text.
好，我们翻开第4页第4页的中文。我们把从第4页一开始念到这个中间部分，现成等觉这个。
So I'll be reading all the way down to about the 9th line on page 4. We'll start from the top of page 4 and read down to the 9th line.
好，中文有拼音，就是大家可以一起念。然后中文念完，我们就念英文。Jin-Chuan是会带着大家念英文。
So if people are unfamiliar with the Chinese characters, you can read the romanization below. It's good practice. And after that, we'll read the English on the other side.
好，我们开始。
Page 4 and page 5. Page 4 and page 5.
这样子，我们节省时间，我们大家一起念好了，大家一起念。
So if we can recite this section together, that would be very good.
好，大家一起念。又与大乘众菩萨聚，普贤菩萨、妙德菩萨、慈氏菩萨等，此贤解中一切菩萨。又贤护等16正士，善思义菩萨、信慧菩萨、空无菩萨、神通花菩萨、观音菩萨、会上菩萨、智床菩萨、寂根菩萨、宴会菩萨、相向菩萨、宝音菩萨、中住菩萨、自行菩萨、解脱菩萨，皆尊普贤大士之德，具诸菩萨无量恨愿，安住一切功德之法，由不十方行权方便，入佛法藏，究竟彼岸。以无量世界现成等觉。好 ，English.
The English on the other side. We'll read to the final place where it says "other shore." Also present was a gathering of Mahayana practitioners who were bodhisattvas, including Bodhisattva, universal goodness; Bodhisattva, wondrous virtue; Bodhisattva, kindness, and all the bodhisattvas in this goodness eon. There were also 16 excellent bodhisattvas, including guardian of goodness, as well as other bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva, skillful reflection; Bodhisattva, faith and wisdom; Bodhisattva, emptiness; Bodhisattva, blossom of spiritual powers; Bodhisattva, effulgence; Bodhisattva, supreme wisdom; Bodhisattva, wisdom banner; Bodhisattva, tranquil faculties; Bodhisattva, wisdom and vows; Bodhisattva, fragrant elephant; Bodhisattva, essence of jewel; Bodhisattva, abiding in the middle; Bodhisattva, disciplined conduct; and Bodhisattva, liberation. Each of these bodhisattvas embodied the virtue of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, perfected all bodhisattvas' infinite practices and vows, and abided peacefully in all the methods of merit and virtue. They traveled throughout the 10 directions, teaching with skillful means. In infinite worlds, they revealed equivalent enlightenment by mastering the Dharma treasury and arriving at the other shore.
好，所以我们就是会听到很多的菩提萨巴，就是菩萨，因为我们 以前就是讲一些神通已达的那些大比丘，那后面我们就是来讲这一些菩萨。那菩萨我们已经讲过了普贤菩萨前一两次，还有妙多菩萨，我们也稍微做了一些跟他介绍。那今天晚上我们还是以这两个菩萨来跟大家结法缘。
So before, during the sutra lectures, we went over all the arhats in the assembly of the sutra lecture. If people remember, the spirit was that from the descriptions of all these various bodhisattvas and arhats attending this in attendance at this sutra lecture, we can kind of imagine being in the Dharma assembly. So each person, or you can imagine each bodhisattva, if they were actually present here in this room, what would it be like? What would it feel like? And so we've been describing each of these arhats, these great sages, as well as the bodhisattvas, so that people can connect to them. And so tonight we will be looking into Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. Here is Bodhisattva Universal Goodness, and Bodhisattva Manjushri, Bodhisattva Wondrous Virtue. And we already went over these two bodhisattvas last time for a little bit, but their lives are so rich there that we're going to investigate them some more tonight.
就是妙德菩萨，我们知道就是文殊师利菩萨。那每一位菩萨他都会来修行，最重要就是要我们学佛就是要发愿，发愿就是要能够成佛。所以我们今天也来介绍一下文殊师利菩萨，他也有发过愿。
So on this path of spiritual practice, of cultivation, what's really important is how we make vows. And then when we make vows, what sets the direction for our spiritual practice. Manjushri Bodhisattva himself also made vows, allowed him to become a Buddha. So we will reflect on what were Manjushri Bodhisattva's vows.
那就是在《大宝积经》里面的文殊师利受记会上面有提到，他以前是一个算法轮王，就是算转轮圣王，他的名字就是叫做普富王。
So here's Manjushri Bodhisattva's story when he made vows. So in a past, in a life, this is described in a sutra called the Da Bao Ji Jing, and I think in a verse. And in this sutra, Manjushri Bodhisattva was described as being a wheel-turning sage king. This is, you could say, a very powerful ruler, someone with many blessings. His name was Pu Fu Wang.
Pu Fu Wang, yeah.
I think probably universal blessings, expansive blessings, king. So king, universal blessings.
就是说他就是修行的时候，他那时候是雷音如来，就是雷音佛，那是一个在东方的一个无生世界，那个世界叫做无生世界的雷音佛的时代。
So at this time he was a cultivator, and the Buddha that was in the world was called Lei Ying Rulai. I think the sound of thunder, Tathagata, the sound of thunder, Tathagata. Tathagata is another name for the Buddha, and he was in the east. This Buddha was in the east, and so that that was the conditions whereby this king, who used to be Manjushri Bodhisattva, met the Dharma.
他那时候也是一样的七宝具足。我们上一次有介绍过七宝，今天就不去继续讲这个。然后他用正法来治理国家，所以他的积了很多的善功德。
So he had you could say 7 treasures of a king, of a wheel-turning sage king. In the previous lecture, I went over each of those treasures, and so I won't go into them now. However, he was a really great king. He used the Dharma, he used proper principles to guide the country, and so by doing so, he created a tremendous amount of goodness, a tremendous amount of merit and virtue in that process of taking care of the country.
所以有一天他就想到他自己说，我积了很多的功德，那我下一步要怎么办？所以是他自己想说，我是不是再去当这个大梵天王，或者是四帝，就是梵天四帝，就是算四帝的一些转轮王，或者是他要去求这个比支佛，他这样子的一个念头里面，然后这个他想了这个念头以后，他就听到天空中就是天上跟他讲说，你不要发这种的那么狭小的心，你要发菩提大心，就是菩提大心，就是要成佛。
So one day he thought to himself, I've gathered so much goodness and merit. What should I do next? What's my next steps in life? Right? Sometimes we have that question. What do we do next? And so he had that question, and he thought, well, maybe I should go to the Brahma heaven, become a very powerful god, Lord Brahma. He's very, very up in the heavens. He's one of the Lord rulers. And then he thought, well, maybe I'll be Chakra. Chakra is a little bit lower in the heavens, but he is also a ruler of the gods, called Chakra Indrayam, Deva Indrayam. And he thought, well, how about if I become another heavenly king, or a wheel-turning sage king? Or maybe I should become a Pracheka Buddha, a solitary sage. And so as he was reflecting on what he should do next, he heard a voice in the sky. And the voice told him, don't make such a small, narrow vow. You should make a vow to become a Buddha. Make the great Bodhi resolve. Do you have people talking to you like that?
所以他听了这个天上跟他指示说，你要发菩提心，3秒3普陀心，然后他非常高兴，这个就是要成佛，所以他就决定来到这个雷音佛这里，而且还带着他的所有的这个那时候的人民众生总共有80亿的人，80亿的众生，80亿。
So he was really, really happy when he heard this voice in the sky, and so he decided to go visit the Buddha, Sound of Thunder, and he brought all his citizens in his country. 80亿, how many is that? 800 million. So he brought 800 million people to go to see this Buddha. 800 million would be, I think China maybe has 1 billion people, so he took like 4/5 of China to go visit the Buddha.
所以就请求这个雷音佛跟他先说，因为他就跟说因为他要发这个大菩提心，然后这个大王就跟他说，就等于跟他受记了，就这样子。 然后也跟他讲说因为你一个这个如来就跟他讲说，我们依照我们师兄说你用什么因缘，你种什么因，就是得什么果。所以你今天发这个大愿，将来就是会成无上菩提的。所以跟他这样子来鼓励他，跟他等于一个受记。
So he went to request the Dharma from this Buddha, to request instructions. And in his heart, he made the resolve to want to become fully awakened. And so as he was there, this Buddha saw him and then, you could say, gave him a prediction of his future accomplishment of Buddhahood. For the Buddha, he said, whatever cause has an effect. Each cause has an effect. And so today you've planted the seed to, you made the resolve to become a Buddha. So you planted the cause, and in the future, you for sure will become a Buddha.
所以当时就有20亿，来的是80亿，但是有20亿的人就跟着这个国王来发菩提心，这样子，然后他们发完以后，就大家很庆幸，我这个是将来要能够得到这个无上菩提的。
So that time, 200 million of his followers, so 800 million came along, so about a quarter of them also made the Bodhi resolve. They made the vow to become a fully awakened, and they were very happy and said, in the future we will also, you could say, realize the fruit of full awakening.
所以佛就告诉大家，当时的这个普富王就是现在的文殊师利菩萨。Yeah.
A question? 2 billion? Okay. So I got a correction that that the number should be 2 billion for 20亿, and then that would make 80 would be 8 billion. So it'd be 8 Chinas. So how many people are in this world? Our planet is what, 6 billion? 7? No, billion. We don't have 70 billion. We have how many billion people in our world?
7
billion? 7 billion. So if you imagine, so the king took every single person in our world plus another billion to go visit the Buddha together. And then 2 billion of them made vows to become a Buddha. And so in this sutra, it described that this king was actually, in the past, Manjushri Bodhisattva.
好，就是我们修学佛道，就是说我们要发愿很重要。像我们发愿，常常念佛完以后，我们就是愿生西方净土，去那里阿弥陀佛那里学习，然后成佛，再回来度众生。这个就是很重要的。我们每一个人修学都有一个目标，就是要能够发大愿，不要发小愿，发大愿成佛，这个是最重要的。
So one extremely important point in our spiritual practice is that we need to make vows, and our vows need to be great and vast. We need to make a vow to become Buddhas, to realize full awakening. This is very important. For instance, after our practice, when we recite the Buddha's name or do our spiritual practice, we often make vows to be reborn in the Pure Land. We vow to be born in Amitabha's land of ultimate bliss, and then return to this world to rescue and help living beings. And so when we make a vow, we don't want to make a small vow. We don't want to have a very small and narrow vow, but we want a very great and vast vow. That's very important.
好，下面我想我们要了解，就是文殊师利菩萨他的修行方式，他有一个叫做一行三昧， 一行三昧的这个修行，它跟我们开示，所以我们这个是在文殊师利说摩诃般若波罗蜜经卷下里面的。一行就是。
Got it. Okay. 一行。So how about Manjushri Bodhisattva's method of practice? So in the great or the Mahaprajnaparamita Sutra, Manjushri Bodhisattva describes a form of spiritual practice that is called the single practice samadhi, 一行三昧, the single practice samadhi.
他这个是他修的一行三昧，然后透过释迦牟尼佛来宣说，因为这个也是算一个很慈悲的一个示范。他自己不说，由释迦牟尼佛来说。
So in this text, he actually doesn't talk about his own practice of the one practice samadhi, single practice samadhi, but instead Shakyamuni Buddha describes it, explains it. So he, you could say, is kind of more humble. He doesn't share it, but then Shakyamuni Buddha shares it on his behalf.
这个当然他这个之前他也是有请文殊师利言世尊云何名一行三昧，这个就是一个非常好的，就是请佛来宣说这个一行三昧。
So before that, there was a Dharma request for the Buddha. Says, Buddha, please explain the single practice samadhi.
然后佛就说法界一相，系缘法界，是名一行三昧。法界一相，系缘法界，是名一行三昧。OK， 就是说我们看我们所有的法界，其实法界就是只有一个相，其实也是无相。然后它是跟着系缘法界，它是缘的这个要有这个因缘，所以这个也是一个因缘的一个世界。因缘的世界。因缘呐，就是缘，就是我们的
缘。一相法界。So the Buddha's explanation was the Dharma realm has a single appearance, a single mark, or a single characteristic. And you can say, what's the single characteristic? It's the single characteristic that's free of all characteristics. You can maybe say that a unifying aspect of all of our experience is, in Buddhism, sometimes we use the word emptiness, in the sense that, not to say that it's meaningless, but to rather say that when we really look at it carefully, there's no essential thing there that never changes. There's a kind of okay, so there's an explanation a little bit. Yeah. So this single mark or single characteristic of the Dharma realm, which is our entire universe, or the even greater than our just our universe, has a single characteristic, and in the single characteristic, it arises based on causes and conditions.
好，他讲就是说三男子三女人，你要入这个一行三昧，就是要先能够闻这个般若波罗蜜，这个就是一个般若波罗蜜，知道就是一个智慧嘛。你要能够有这个智慧，然后如说修学，然后你这样子去照着这样子去做，去修行，去学习，然后你就能够入一行三昧。他后面还有继续再解释，会解释越来越清楚。
So there'll be more and more explanation. So just the beginning, you get a flavor of it, and then we will begin to unpack it. So the Buddha then explains, if So this is the single practice samadhi, is the Dharma realm being one mark, but that it's also arises or is based on causes and conditions. This is called the single practice samadhi. So good man and good woman, if you wish to enter this single practice samadhi, then you first need to hear the teachings of Prajnaparamita.
所以这样子如法界言，不退不坏，不思议，无爱，无相，然后善就是这样子。这个他刚才就是解释这个像法界言，就是法界跟这些言，它都是都不退不坏的，就是等于无生无灭不思议，这些都是无障无碍的，这样子的一个法界的这个因缘法。所以善男子善女人要入这个一行三昧，你就是要坐在一个空闲的地方，就是等于打坐了，的一个，然后你自己要端身正，就是端身正相然后能够在一个佛，把心系在一个佛里面，然后专称名字，随佛方向方所，就是好像你念阿弥陀佛，你除了说面向佛菩萨以外，你还要面向西方，就是说自己假如说没有佛堂，就面向西方，这个是一个方向。
So here the teachings of Prajnaparamita, the teachings of perfection of wisdom, and then you explain it and you cultivate it and study it vigorously. You kind of go into it. And then by that process you can enter into the single practice samadhi. The Dharma realm and all the causes and conditions, they are by nature, they do not arise, they do not cease. Bu tui. They don't retreat. Yeah. They don't get destroyed. Yeah. They don't fall apart. They're inconceivable. They're beyond word and thought. There's no obstruction. Yeah. There are no appearances. So good man and good woman, if you wish to enter this single practice samadhi, then you should go to a quiet and, you could say, place of ease, a kind of an aranya, a peaceful place. Or another way you could think about it is you should meditate peacefully and let go of all your random thoughts. You should let go of all your random thoughts, your confused thinking.
然后不起相貌，就是说你不要去想东想西，
So yeah, you don't want to think about a bunch of different things like we're mostly doing.
但是你只有想一个佛就可以了，你心就是信念一个佛，像我们念阿弥陀佛的人，你就心系阿弥陀佛就可以。
So you just put your mind, your heart, in the name of one Buddha, and you just focus and concentrate on that Buddha's name, and you face the Buddha. You turn and you face the Buddha. So for instance, here we have the Buddha image here. You can face the Buddha, or you can face the west. The Amitabha Buddha is towards the west, so you can, if you're not in front of the Buddha image or in the Buddha hall, you can face west, and in your heart face the Buddha.
所以就这样子的，你就一直这个自己的心一直系念在这个佛上面，继续的相续，念念相续依佛。所以念念中，你念这个当然就是说你要修行打坐也好，或者是念佛也好，久了之后，你就能够见到这个佛。
So you just keep your mind on that Buddha. You keep reciting, keep being mindful, moment after moment, thought after thought. And if you do that all the time, then you will eventually meet the Buddha.
而且你可以当然你见佛就是会见到过去佛，还有现在还有将来都可以见到诸佛。何以故？为什么呢？就是说因为你念中就是你的念中有佛的功德无量无边，与无量诸佛的功德没有量。因为你自己在念这个你自己的这个佛理心里面佛跟真正的佛的功德是没有两样的，所以这个不思议佛的它是没有分别的。
So as you recite the Buddha's name, you're mindful of the Buddha, and you will see the Buddhas of the past, the Buddha current, the Buddhas in the future. Why is this? It's because when you are mindful of the Buddha's merit and virtue is limitless and boundless. And this Buddha's merit and virtue, which is limitless and boundless, is not separate from your reciting the Buddha's name, which is also limitless and boundless. These two are not different, meaning that the Buddha's merit and virtue, which is limitless and boundless, and your reciting and mindfulness of the Buddha's name, that you can say that mindfulness of the Buddha also is limitless and boundless, because those two are actually non-dual. They're one. And yeah, so that's it.
所以这个就是跟我们的念佛或者是打坐都是，我们不是有常常去禅堂去观那个嘛，去参这个念佛是水嘛，你就一直参这个究竟是水在这个念这个佛，所以这个念佛跟参禅都是一样的法门。这个就是我们现在所在做的这个不管念佛也好打坐也好的一个法门。
So when we recite or we meditate or we do any practice, we can be single-minded and then be mindful of the Buddha. Then we can, you could say, connect with the Buddha's energy. When we meditate, we sit in Chan, we often ask the question, who is mindful of the Buddha? That who is actually not any different than reciting the Buddha's name. It's in fact the same Dharma method. And so if we can be sincere in practice, then we, you could say, can have success in our spiritual, we can have some skill in our spiritual practice.
所以这个是一个进入能够得到这个佛境界的。当然你打坐有的人他不是在念这个佛，他也可以用别的方式呼吸进入，或者是，但是你最重要都还是要最后也是要能够有这个佛阿弥陀佛这个观想出现，这个是最保证的。所以古代的人一直大德都讲，我们参禅以外就是能够参阿弥陀佛，这个是最好最保证的。
So by doing that, we can enter the Buddha state by being mindful of the Buddha. For sure, people meditate with other methods. So for instance, people might be mindful of the breathing, mindful of the breath. But at the same time, ultimately, we want to also be mindful of Amitabha Buddha as our practice, because this is the most dependable, most reliable. We can investigate Chan, but at the same time, we want to also investigate Amitabha Buddha. We want to, you could say, rely on mindfulness of the Buddha as another form of practice. They go really well together. And the great teachers of the past, the patriarchs and sages of the past, recommended this practice of Chan in Pure Land.
好，我们再继续再介绍一个，就是说我像在中国的我们知道五台山是这个文殊师利的道场，然后它也会有很多的示现 的一些事迹。然后我想我今天也介绍一个他在北宋的时候他演化的一个故事，就是他演化出一个人，然后他怎样子来到这个世间。
演化是 manifest，
就是
当个人
就是应
response。Okay. So in China, there is a mountain that's associated with Manjushri Bodhisattva. It's called Wutaisan, Mount Wutai. And on this mountain, there are many instances, we could say, when people have met Manjushri Bodhisattva. So one of these times was in the dynasty Bei Song. I don't know what years those would be.
Song Cao.
Song Cao. But one of the dynasties of China. And that time, he manifested as a person. He transformed himself into a person.
他是出生在这个台州临海县的一个长者家里，他这个叫做罗，姓罗，就是楼上的罗，罗延佑。
So Manjushri Bodhisattva was born in a family in Taizhou, and Yunhai-Xian, a kind of province, Yunhai. And so he was born in the house of a respected elder, and this family's the elder's name was Luo Yanliu. Luo Yanliu.
Yeah. 他这个是当官的，他的官是做到少卿，就是一个官的名字。
So this elder actually was an official in the government. He got to a very high governmental office position.
那他这个他的夫人姓张，然后他有一天晚上就梦到一个光来到他的肚子里面，然后就怀孕了，后来就生出一个小孩子。这个小孩子的名字叫做顿吉，顿就是马上顿开，就是剑顿的顿，顿吉。
So his wife's name was Zhang. And so one night she had a dream that this bright light entered into her womb. And so she then gave birth to a child, and they named the child Tunji, which means kind of sudden auspiciousness. Sudden auspiciousness.
Yeah. 那这个顿吉他一生出来以后，他就跟他父母亲讲话了，讲说：善哉父母，生我过劳，长度情深，为世沃教。意思是说，哇，父母亲，这算一个见面啦，父母亲你好，生活很辛苦，然后以后就是要常常的来，我会常常来度众生，然后就是来为这个世间来浇肥料。就是把在这个土壤上来浇肥料，就是度众生的意思。
So right when he was born, he could already talk. And what he said to his parents, he said, "Good indeed, good indeed. Parents, mom and dad, having given birth to me is very difficult. It's very difficult. I've come into this world to help and rescue living beings, to really help this world." So 肥料 add fertilizer?
Yeah.
To add some fertilizer to this world. Meaning that he's here to maybe help nurture our good roots so that we can wake up.
所以他父母亲听了就非常的惊喜，然后也很高兴。然后有一天，这个小孩子跟他父母亲说：“请准备7个人的斋饭。”
So the parents heard this and were for sure surprised. The baby's talking immediately upon birth, and very happy. And so he grew up a little bit by little bit. And one day he told his parents that they need to prepare a meal for 7 people.
所以讲完以后，果然没有多久，就有7个这个和尚来，就来用斋了。
So after a period of time, they prepared the food, and what do you know? 7 monks came on alms round, and so they had food to offer them.
然后他们他父亲就问这个这7个人说大德从何来的？那其中有一个人就是说他们答说从南印度来的。
So the parents asked these monks, saying, "Where did you come from? Where did you come from?" And they said, "We came from southern India, and we've come here."
然后他来的就是说，听说因为这里就是你这个府上有生了这个非常奇特殊眼就是很奇特的这个孩子，特别来跟你祝贺。
So he said, "The reason we're here is because we heard that you have an exceptional child, and so we came here to offer our blessings to meet this child."
然后他们吃完饭以后这个父母亲就把这个小孩子抱出来给他们，跟他们见面。然后这个还是一样很小嘛，就把他抱出来这样子。然后这7个僧人就跟着这小孩子跟他说，仁者有情之主，就是说你仁者当然就是讲这个小孩子，你这个你还有这个父母亲的这个执着，你不要被蒙过，就是说你要小心，需要心就是你要小心，因为不要被情所执着蒙蔽了。
So these 7 monks, so the mom brought out the child, still very small and kind of still a baby, and brought him out to meet the 7 monks. And the monks saw the baby and told the baby, "Oh, you're coming to this world, Renza." Maybe they said kind one, and or humane one. When you come into this world, you don't want to develop too much of an attachment, a kind of a dependency, a kind of an emotional dependency, attachment, of kind of clinginess to your parents. You want to be careful not to do that.
所以这个小孩子听了以后就笑一笑，然后后来就跟他们父母亲说，刚才那个7个人是一个菩萨化现人间来的。
So the little baby smiled, and then later, after the 7 monks left, he told his parents those 7 monks were actually bodhisattvas, transformed and manifested in human form in this world.
然后这个顿吉呢，他5岁的时候就自己称他是六合大师，然后15岁他就来拜别父母亲，说要出家，所以他就15岁以后，他就在杭州的这个地方的路上呢，他碰到一个慧光和尚。
So at that time, this young baby Duanji grew up. When he was 5 years old, he had a reflection that he was actually one of these great masters named Liu He. And when he was 15 years old, he told his parents that he wanted to leave home, become a monk. He wanted to go forth into the Sangha. And so on one of these roads in Hangzhou, he met a monk named Hui Huang.
Yeah.
慧荒 Dharma Master 慧荒
Yeah. 然后就跟他讲说他是要出家的意愿，那这个老和尚就跟他介绍去这个飞来峰，然后去见这个波利多尊者。
So he told this monk that he would have this aspiration to leave home. So this elder monk told him to go to this other place, Huilai Feng, and meet a master named Polido.
Yeah.
Polido, Dharma Master Polido.
Yeah. 那这个尊者碰到他以后，就跟他说：“你是从哪里来的？”他答说：“从缘来。”缘就是因缘，从哪里因缘来就从哪里来。
就是哪里来，就是哪里来就哪里来。
缘就是不是因缘的缘从缘来，因为有这个因缘才会来嘛，就是从缘来，是从缘来。他不会讲说我从杭州来或哪里来，他从缘来。
So the venerable Polido, when he met this Duanji, said, "Where did you come from?" And Duanji's response was, "I come from conditions." That's not a very good way to say it. He just comes from whatever the causes and conditions are. That's where he comes from.
Yeah. 然后这个尊者又问说：“那你姓什么？”然后他答：“我佛姓，就是我的姓是佛。”
So the venerable asked him, "So what is your surname?" And he said, "My surname is Buddha. My surname is Buddha."
然后这个尊者就想说：“你现在还是在家人，你怎么知道就认识这个姓佛呢？这个佛姓呢？”
So you're still a lay person. How come you have a surname Buddha?
他就说：“我虽然是俗人但是因俗正尊，就是因为我现在虽然是私人，但是我可以证到真的一个方面，所以真实圆融，所以没有什么两样的，所以没有二性之性呢，就是佛性。”
Okay, some classical Chinese. So maybe just to give context. So usually when the monastics become monks and nuns, we actually take the last name of the Buddha's family. So so Jin-Fo's last name is Shi, Jin-Fo Shi, and Jin-He Shi in the back, Shi. And the Shi is actually supposed to represent Shakyamuni Buddha. Shi Jia Mo Ni Fo, so you kind of become part of the Buddhist family when you leave home. But he said here that how come you have the Buddha as your surname if you're still a layperson? And so Duanji's response was that although I still have this form of a person of the world, but the realization of our true nature, of Buddha nature, is beyond form, beyond the world or the you could say the monastic form. It is really beyond words. It's beyond all duality. It's the truth principle is actually all encompassing, non-obstructive, is perfect and complete.
所以这个佛利多尊者就知道说这个是很不同的一个立根的人，所以就跟他落法出家，然后受了具足戒，也受了具足戒以后，就跟他名为他的名字法名就是善戒。那这个从此以后，这个善戒他就到处去游四方，去广度众生，但是就是他的行为跟一般人都是不一样的。但是也不知道后来去哪里，也没人知道。
So Venerable Bodhisattva realized this young man, he's 15 years old, is really exceptional. He's not an ordinary person. So we let him become a monastic, and later he took the full precepts, and he was given the name, the ordained name of wholesome precepts. And so he, as a monk, wandered the country, traveled across the country, teaching and helping living beings. And he did this for quite a while. And what happened is actually his practices, people noticed, were quite different than any ordinary person. But over time, where he went, no one knows. He just kind of traveled and then kind of, maybe say, disappeared.
OK， 好，我想这个我们介绍在这里。另外，我们想介绍一个，就是妙法莲华经上的一个龙尼，他马上成佛。这个也是由文殊师利菩萨他自己讲出来的这个故事，所以龙尼成佛，而且女孩子可以成佛也是非常不错的，这个给女孩子非常的一个鼓励。
So there's another story from the Lotus Sutra where Dragon Girl becomes a Buddha. And so this was also spoken by Manjushri Bodhisattva. So a young girl can also become a Buddha. And so this is a really encouraging story to kind of encourage young women that they too can cultivate and become Buddhas.
这个是在提婆达多品里面，就是第12品里面的一个故事。然后这个那时候文殊师利他是常常去龙宫里面讲法，跟他讲妙法莲华经的。
So this story that I will just tell you now comes from chapter 12 of the Lotus Sutra. The title of that chapter is called Devadatta. And so in this chapter, it describes Manjushri Bodhisattva going into the dragon's palace, the palace of the Nagas, to teach the Dharma.
那这个故事里面也因为他去龙宫讲法，讲完以后，就是刚好释迦牟尼佛来讲这个妙法莲华经，所以他会从海底里面起来去灵鹫山里面去见释迦牟尼佛。那时候也有就是那个宝积佛资济菩萨，资济菩萨是另外一个国度，就是跟着多宝塔佛一起来的这个智积菩萨。那就智积菩萨跟他问说：“你常常去龙宫里面、去海里面去讲法，那边因为你讲的是妙法莲华经。”那有没因为妙法莲华经就是要成佛嘛？那你有没有碰到或者是有没有人能够很快成佛的这个众生？就是在问他说你怎么样子讲的怎么样子？有没有人能够好的成绩表现啊？像这样子一个来跟他问。
Okay, so to give a little bit of context about this sutra, we have the Lotus Sutra, and the Buddha speaks the Lotus Sutra near the end of his teaching career, and he teaches everyone and that actually, in fact, everyone can become Buddhas, and he encourages everyone to make the vows to become a Buddha and gives them encouragement and predictions. So you could say the Lotus Sutra becomes the sutra about everyone's potential for awakening. It's a very profound text that points to each person's deepest, greatest potential. And so in this text, Manjushri Bodhisattva is teaching the Lotus Sutra in the dragon's palace. But it just so happens also Shakyamuni Buddha is teaching the Lotus Sutra on Vulture's Peak. And so Manjushri Bodhisattva comes out of the oceans. So the dragons live in the oceans. They're described as these they are palaces in the oceans, and then they're in the oceans, palaces. And so he comes out of the ocean, and during that time, in the Lotus Sutra, it describes that around Shakyamuni Buddha, there's another Buddha from the past that's named Many Jewels Buddha, and he has a big stupa, a kind of a place for where the Buddha would stay. They're often used for keeping relics. But this Buddha of the past is in the stupa, and accompanying this Buddha was a Bodhisattva named Ziji, right? Ziji Bodhisattva. And so this Bodhisattva addresses Manjushri Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva talking to Bodhisattvas, and says, so you're teaching the Lotus Sutra in the oceans, in the Dragon's Palace. Have you met anyone who can quickly become a Buddha, who really has the potential to become a Buddha? You could maybe say, has your teachings have any really good students, from really good students who really can take the teachings and put them into effect? So he's asking Manjushri Bodhisattva this question.
但这个成佛是一回事，然后菩萨是很多，所以他那时候叫在那里度众生的菩萨很多，度菩萨恨的，然后都是也有他们讲完了以后，这些菩萨都是从海里面生出来，给他就是非常多的，这个都是文殊师利菩萨所度的。那这个现在我们要讲的就是这个龙女，龙女那时只有8岁，然后她非常的智慧都很高，然后也很善根非常深厚，然后她佛陀所教的法，她都能够非常的了解，而且能够很深到的这个佛藏，很深入到这个密藏里面，就是佛的讲的话里面，所以他能够而且能够深入禅定里面，所以他能够了达诸法的一些他都能够通达。
So also during this time, many bodhisattvas came out of the ocean. Imagine if you were to have a movie, you have this big ocean, you have Manjushri Bodhisattva coming out of the ocean, and then you have all these other bodhisattvas coming out of the ocean together. And all those bodhisattvas were taught by and transformed by Manjushri Bodhisattva. So, but the focus of this particular story is on a young girl named Dragon Girl, or it's referred to as Dragon Girl. She's 8 years old, so still quite young. But as a young dragon, a young female dragon, she had a lot of wisdom, and she, you could say, had really, really, you say thick, good roots, but thick doesn't quite work. You could say, if you imagine, roots of a tree, right? The roots are thick or sturdy, right? They're really deep and sturdy. So her roots, and these roots are usually, good roots are kind of like our foundation in the Dharma. If we don't have good roots, then as we start practicing, it's kind of unstable. But if we have good roots, then as we practice, it just naturally grows and it's very solid. So she has really solid good roots. She can understand what the Buddha teaches. She's able to go and penetrate into the Dharma treasury. She has real Chan samadhi or dhyana stillness. She can cultivate the dhyanas and be able to understand the nature of all dharmas. So her ability to meditate was very profound.
所以这个智积菩萨他就讲说，像释迦牟尼佛以前他要成佛，他都要守生命然后经过很几个大劫里面才能够成佛，所以他不相信这个龙女那么年轻，那么只有8岁他就能成佛，他非常的不相信。
So you get Bodhisattva dialogue. So this Bodhisattva, Ziji Bodhisattva, says, this young dragon girl can. So maybe it's also for context. Dragons are also seen as in the animal realm. They're actually, although very powerful, not seen as a really great rebirth, because as an animal, there's often a lot of suffering attached to that. And so this Bodhisattva, Ziji Bodhisattva, has doubts. He said Shakyamuni Buddha, to become a Buddha, had to go through many eons of practice. He had to give up his life for the Bodhisattvas, for walking the Bodhisattva path on behalf of living beings. I don't believe that this young girl, just 8 years old, a dragon girl, can be able to wake up so quickly. I just don't believe it.
这个讲完以后，这个龙女她就马上就现出来了，她就现在她的前面，然后就跟她顶礼，然后就后面站在一面。那时候是那个舍利弗他也讲话了，他跟着龙女讲：你听说你要得这个无上菩提道，这个是很难相信的。为什么？因为你是女生嘛，女生的话就是过碎的，就是说不是很清净的，而且也是非法器，怎么样能够马上就得到无上的菩提呢？就是成佛呢？
So at that point, this young dragon girl manifested in front of the bodhisattvas and bowed and paid her respects. And then Venerable Shariputra saw this and was also kind of doubtful. He says, realizing supreme Bodhi, realizing full awakening, is not so easy. It's not very easy at all. It's very difficult. So it's very hard to believe that you, in a body of a female, which is, so he's got his perspective, which is, they said that the body of a female, which is impure and not really that great of a vessel for spiritual practice. I don't know how that you can become a Buddha so quickly.
所以舍利弗又继续跟他讲说，你人生啊，就是你是一个女人，有5种障碍。第一个就是说，你不能够做梵天王；第二个就是不能够做帝释，就是那个第4天的那个。然后第3个就是魔王，你不可以当魔王。第4个就是说你不可以当转轮圣王。第5个就是说你不可以有这个佛身，就是成佛的这个身体。那怎么说你现在是你的身体怎么很快能够成佛呢？所以他不相信。
So then Venerable Shariputra goes on to say, well, as being in a female's body, there's 5 obstructions, 5 things that one cannot do. So one is one cannot become a Brahma king, Lord Brahma. The other is you can't become Lord Chakra. The third is you can't become the king of the demons, Mara. And then also number 4 is one cannot become a wheel-turning sage king. And finally, one does not have the body to become a Buddha. So I can't believe that as a female body, you're able to quickly become a Buddha. So it's for him very, very hard to believe.
所以那时候小龙女就拿着她的一个宝珠，这个宝珠就是价值3000大千世界的，就是最宝贵的龙珠，然后就拿给呈上给释迦牟尼佛，然后释迦牟尼佛就拿过来了。所以他拿过来以后，这个龙女就跟这个智积菩萨讲，还有跟舍利弗讲说，你看我献这个佛珠给世尊接受，是不是很快？然后他们打说很快的。那这个龙女就是说，所以你用这个神力来看我成佛，然后是不是也是很快的这样子？所以当时龙女她忽然就变成一个男生， 就男的这个身体就这样子，他就往南方世界无垢世界那里去成宝莲花成正觉，就是去那里成佛。
So then this young girl made an offering to the Buddha of the dragon's pearl. You'll see, you don't quite see it in our images now, but there's... Yeah, so if you see on this stained glass window, you'll see a little pearl. It's hard to make out, but it's on where the mouth of the dragon is, and there's a pearl. People see the dragon dance that the in Chinese New Year, it's often a ball. The other reference I found that is, if people, this is maybe more for the guys in the audience. In my generation, there's a TV show called Dragon Ball Z. I think that Dragon Ball is also the dragon's pearl. Probably a kind of a reference that got pulled in over the years into kind of Japanese television. So she has her dragon pearl, and it's considered extremely precious. This is the most cherished item of a dragon. It's like encompasses all their spiritual abilities and their powers. And so she offers that to Shakyamuni Buddha. And then she looks and turns to Ziji Pusa, Bodhisattva Ziji, and says, "So I just gave my pearl to Shakyamuni Buddha. Was that very quick?" And he said, "Yes, that was very fast." He says, "Even faster than that, will I become a Buddha?" And so she then transforms into a male body and actually goes to the land in the south, Nanfang?
Yeah, Nanfang, Ugo世界.
Into a 什么世界?
Ugo世界. Ugo世界.
So a kind of a place, land free of defilement, free of kind of dirtiness, Ugo, dirt, free. And just quickly becomes a Buddha. So she becomes a Buddha just like that.
所以这个就是一个他当然最后要女生要转男生，所以不管怎样子要有这样的一个动作，女生就可以成佛。所以要女转男生以后可以成佛，这个是很重要。所以要常常像有很多的女生要常常要注意到有很多的，好像有几个难，80难是吧？那个他就是说尽量要减少那些习气，女生的习气。
So dragon girl, she actually transformed into a man and then went and quickly became a Buddha. So this is a point that is you can pay attention to, that there's, you can say, some habits of females that are not considered very wholesome, and so you want to be able to transform those to be able to cultivate and then walk the path.
好，还有再讲一下，我们上人在这一品里面，上人也有开示，就是说我们人要能够得到这个莲花化身，莲花化身那是很不容易的，那必须要有具足8种因缘。下面我们介绍一下8种因缘能够得到莲花化身。
So Master Hua here also gives commentary that in order to be able to be reborn in a lotus flower, one needs to have cultivated 8 causes and conditions. So I want to introduce these 8 causes and conditions.
第一个就是说，你把你的生命守掉，你都不要去讲人家的过错是非。甚至于你丢掉生命，你都不要去讲人家的过错是非，就是去谈论人家的是是非非的。
Even at the cost of your life, the loss of your life, you don't want to speak about other people's faults and gossip. You don't want to gossip.
第二个就是要劝化人去皈依三宝，而且能够对于畜生那一些也都能够劝化去皈依，然后而且要能够行菩萨道。
畜生什么样？
畜生要皈依，给皈依。
So you want to encourage people to take refuge in the three jewels, including animals, and cultivate the Bodhisattva path.
第三个就是要安住在一切这个善事的地方来做菩提心，就是把一些事情都是安置在菩提心上面。菩提心。
So you want to dwell on on good deeds, on all good deeds. You could say you can be steady and firm in doing good deeds, and also constantly working from within the Bodhi resolve.
好，第四个就是我们要修清净恨，要不贪不嗔不痴精进修行，修犯恨。
So we want to have pure conduct, meaning we want to have practices that are free of self. As we don't want to have greed, we don't want to have hatred, we don't have delusion. We want to have practices that are, in the Sanskrit, be brahmacharya, the conduct of Brahma, of the quote unquote a purity of practice.
然后第五个就是要多造佛形象，然后安在莲花座上。
So you want to also make Buddha images that are seated on a lotus flower.
第六个就是要能够解除众生的爱恼，就是能够当然有众生有一些问题的话，你能够帮他解决。
So you want to be able to resolve the I now would be something like the afflictions, the worries, the kind of conundrums, when things just don't go right, the problems of the lives of living beings, you're able to resolve them.
好，第七个就是说我们要对于更高的人，因为有一些人会碰到他很高傲的，那你要能够很谦下的心。
So when you are， 说你碰到个公告的人，你自己要谦虚啊。
对，我们他公告给他公告，我们自己要很谦下，就是很谦虚的。
So you meet somebody who's very prideful or arrogant, but that doesn't disturb you. You, in your hearts, just treat them with respect and humility. You're very humble and respectful.
还有不要恼他人，就是说不要给人家生烦恼，这是很重要。
You don't want to cause afflictions for other people. That's actually very important. So those are the 8 causes and conditions to be reborn in a lotus flower.
好，我们下面我们再介绍一个就是在文殊师利五台山道场，或者是常常跟那个普贤菩萨两个都是会常常在一起弘法，就是一起度众生的事情。像寒山师德，这个就是天台山的国清寺，里面有寒山师德这个故事。然后我看上人也有讲这个寒山师德的故事，这个是很好的一个，他在人间来化现，所以有寒山寺，然后也有寒山的诗，这个是大家可以去看这一些。去研究非常不错的。
So for Mount Wutai, That's Manjushri Bodhisattva's, you could say, home. And then there's Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. So Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva often are together. And there's in Chinese history, there's these two figures named Han-shan and Shi-de, and they were at a monastery called Guoqing Monastery. And so they had many stories about them that are very quite wonderful and interesting. And Han-shan, Venerable Han-shan, he actually left quite a few poems, and they were also very good poems.
这个事情是发生在唐朝的时候，而且就是浙江天台山国清寺的那时候方丈是风干禅师，所以风干跟文殊跟普贤三个人就被常常奉称为他是三圣，三个圣人。
So that time is on Tiantai Mountain, the Guoqing Monastery, and so these two were there, and there's another abbot named Fenggang Abbot, the Abbot Fenggang, and so these three, Han-shan, Shi-de, and the Abbot Fenggang, were considered the three sages of the time.
这个上人也讲他这个蛮好的故事，就是其实风干就是阿弥陀佛化身，那他们三个人都互相道破这个身份的，讲出来他们的身份，所以我们才知道。
So Dharma Master Fenggan, who was the abbot, he actually was a transformation body of Amitabha Buddha. So in the very near the end of their lives, their you could say true identities were revealed, and so that's how we know about it.
这个故事是有一个那时候的一个官员，就是台州的刺史官员，叫做黎秋印。黎秋印，他听到他们三个人修行，然后他也打听到风干禅师的指点，说那个寒山跟师者就是文殊跟普贤的化身。Yeah.
So there's an official named Li Qiu-ying who went to see the abbot Fenggang and said, "Oh, these three people, the Dharma Master Fenggang and then Han-shan Shi-de," and he said, Han-shan Shi-de are Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva.
所以他知道这个事情以后，那就去来这个庙寺里面去来找他们，然后一见到他们就赶快拜，然后他们一看到他在拜，就跟他说，这样，就是说你阿弥陀佛不拜，你要拜我们干什么？所以他们就说风干扰舌，就是说风干你都扰舌，就是说你讲了这个话，所以他们就赶快就躲开，然后就躲在这个山岩里面，然后这个山岩里面石缝里面就关在里面，后来就没有再出来。
Okay, so I got the story. Let me give a little bit of context. So this story actually begins with this official going to this abbot, Fenggang, Abbot Fenggang, and he goes and he has this doubt, and he goes to this abbot and says, "Are there any? I mean, in the past, there's been stories of these bodhisattvas manifesting in the world, or the Buddhas manifesting in the world, but does that happen anymore? You know, in our world, in our time, I don't know if that ever happens anymore." And so the abbot, Fenggang, tells this official, "Oh yes, there are still bodhisattvas in this world. Actually, in fact, there's these two people in Guoqing Monastery named Han-shan and Shi-de, and one's actually Manjushri Bodhisattva, and the other is Samantabhadra Bodhisattva." And so these two actually are not what you would say being the most kind of quote unquote adorned, very inspiring kind of figures. I think one's like a scraggly mountain person, and the other maybe is like the cook, I think. Or so there's just kind of like people who are in the monastery taking care of different things, but no one really pays that much attention to them. But the abbot of the monastery points to them saying, oh, they're actually bodhisattvas. And so this official is very excited. Oh, really, bodhisattva? So he runs to, I think, the kitchen, and he sees them. Well, please correct me if I've got any of the story wrong, but I think this is the story. This story is an often told story, right? And you can think about the principles of it, which there are many, if you look at it. I mean, one, that the people who are often unseen and not prominent are really the bodhisattvas, hidden behind doing the work. So these two are just kind of, playing around in the kitchen, doing their thing, helping out. And this official comes in, a very important official, and he says, oh, and he starts bowing to them. He says, what are you doing? Why are you bowing to us? He says, well, the abbot Feng Gang said that you're both bodhisattvas, Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. And so Han-shan and Shi-de are, you could say, aghast. You're like, what? And so they start backing up as this official is bowing to them and trying to pay their respects to them. And they keep backing up until they get to the face of a mountain. And then the mountain opens up and they go into the mountain and they disappear. And before they go, though, they say to him, gosh, Dharma Master Feng Gang, he's just a busybody. He just says too much. He talks too much. These kind of people talks too much. And he says, he should, what is he doing? He's actually Amitabha Buddha, and he's telling us to come bow to us. What is this all about? So they disappear. And so this official is struck, like, what? Is Amitabha Buddha? Right? And then the next part of the story.
Yeah. 对啊，就是三个人在互相就道破了这个身份了，所以后来就这样子。那
他讲完故事啊，他回去了，对不对？他回去看方刚和尚啊。
就方刚和尚就入涅槃了。
So so the story finishes with him going back. I missed my opportunity to bow to Amitabha Buddha. So he goes back to see the abbot Feng Gang. But when he gets there, Dharma Feng Gang had already, we say, entered the stillness, kind of left his body. He's gone, went to next whatever he was supposed to go next. And so they said, kind of, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are right in front of you, but you just don't recognize it. So that's one of those very famous stories.
Yeah, 大家可以看上人的讲的故事非常不错。另外，我想说，我们这个寒山非常有名的就是他这个总共有诗是由那个就是那个官员就是李秋韵他编出来有200-300首的诗，非常都对于，因为我也看了一下，对于这个修行非常有帮助。他专门讲修行的，所以这个出家人或者在家人都可以看。
So this official Li Qiuying took some of these poems of this Han-shan 那时候不是出家众，对不对？还是在家居士。
寒山啊，对，寒山
So this is if people look into Google it, it's Cold Mountain poems. Dharma Master Heng Lai, one of our senior monks, really likes Han-shan, and so he took maybe 200 or 300 poems of Han-shan and made it into a book. And these poems come down to us, and so these poems are very helpful for spiritual practice. They're appropriate for both monastics and lay people alike. Everyone can read them and find some inspiration. If you actually go to the Buddha down the hallway here in BBM, actually on the right, there's a couple poems by Cold Mountain. It says poems by Cold Mountain, and you can see the kind of spirit of his poetry. It's very, if you use the word zizai, kind of this effortless, carefree, happy, open-hearted, broad-minded freedom. Just this free, like the freest kind of spirit you can find.
所以虚云老和尚他也有称赞，在这个诗的前面也有跟他称赞。他虚云老和尚的写的诗句是这样子：法身清净，肉琉璃，就是说法身非常清净，好像琉璃一样的。肉眼看来哪得知？你用我们一般的人来看，哪里能够了解知道是清净不清净？我们看不出来。意识其中玄妙处，你要知道它其中的奥妙的地方呢。细读寒山白首诗，就是你要好好去读他的这个白首诗。这个是虚云老和尚他写的偈颂。
So, Realm Master Empty Cloud, Xu Ying Lao和尚, we have a image of him in the back altar. He wrote a praise as a preface to these poems by Cold Mountain. He said the Dharma body, completely pure, is just as you could say radiant like lapis lazuli. The flesh eye, or our normal vision, how can we really see it? How can we truly know the wonderful with this our kind of physical eye? If we can really wish to know the wonderful and the ineffable Dharma, then we can read these 100 verses of Cold Mountain. And so he wrote this poem as a preface, as in praise of these poems by Cold Mountain.
那还有一个就是两个寒山师的对话，非常有趣的，就是说人家欺负你怎么办啊？你要这样子去，它里面都有，所以大家回去做功课去读一读，我觉得对于修行非常有帮助。
So in their poems and their accounts, there's a story where Han-shan and Shi-de talk about what do you do when somebody bullies you, when they cause you oppression. What do you do? And so they're back and forth. There's very good Dharma instructions. So I recommend if you have a chance to go and take a look.
其中还有他讲的这个他们两个对话里面，他有提到就是弥勒菩萨的偈颂，这个就是我们下次讲法我们会讲弥勒菩萨，所以今天就是我们把这个普贤菩萨跟文殊菩萨就做一个结束了，下一次就讲弥勒菩萨。
So now in their exchange, they actually talk about a verse in praise of Maitreya Bodhisattva. And so this is kind of a, you could say, transition, because next time we speak, next time we go over the sutra, we will be investigating the life of Maitreya Bodhisattva.
好，我们今天就在这里。有没有其他有没有什么问题要
So
问
we finished here. Any questions? Jerry has a question. 全部8个因缘需要具足，还可以从个莲花化身吗？是这个？
对对，他是想要有8个基础，我想这个8个基础对我们修行不会太，我们就认真去做就好，这样子会比较圆满。
So Jin-Fo's response was, you could just apply effort in these 8 areas in your spiritual practice.
莲花化身的8个因缘嘛，这个是上人讲出来的。我想说，其实这些都在我们日常生活都可以用到、可以注意到的。这个。
So these are all 8 areas that we can use and practice in our daily life. Maybe as a reflection, I think you want to use these lists not as a kind of in a really rigid way. in a sense, like, okay, I have to do all 8 of these and then I can be reborn in the lotus flower. They're pointing to a quality of mind that you can see is a mind that doesn't dwell on other people's faults and gossip, one that is rejoicing and reflecting on one's good deeds, right? Takes that as a foundation. And if you look in this, particularly this sutra and the other sutras, Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land is being born in a lotus flower, right? We get born from a lotus flower. So if we are sincere in our recitation and cultivate good deeds, then that gives us, you could say, the qualifications to be able to be born from a lotus flower.
Okay, 好。
Okay.
没有，我们就今天到这里。我们后面就是来回向。
So we have tonight for our sutra lecture, and then we do our transference of merit. And the transference of merit is on the back of your Dharma request sheet. And this is a way that we take the goodness that everyone had from coming here tonight to listen to the Dharma and learn a little bit about Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samattabhadra Bodhisattva. And if you found one principle useful that you could use, you can see how you can use it throughout your week and in your practice. And by doing that, there's a goodness that's created. It's called merit. And we can actually share that with other people so that the principles and goodness that we cultivate and learn doesn't just affect us, but affects all those people around us, or all the beings that we can bring our mind to expand, to support. So the way it works is we can put our palms together and put our hearts together in reciting with sincerity this particular verse.
Okay.
Okay? Restful sleep, or if you're going to still do more things, good rest of the evening.
โธ